All guests report in. Admin Will standing by.
Admin Mark, standing by.
Rob from Phoenix Cell Squadron standing by.
Slightly off intro there. I think Mark actually cut out slightly, but never mind. We shall
Think he did.
continue forth. So
We got this.
today we are going to be going through the new spoilers for the Phoenix Cell Rebel Squadron Pack.
Exciting.
Yeah. So we're going to be looking through any of the new stuff that they showed in the rapid fire articles they've done this week for the Rebels, and then if we've got time, we'll record another episode tomorrow.
I want to say I'm really happy that they're getting these articles out as fast as they are, since these products are set to release here very shortly. They've had a couple typos on it, but I give them some slack. The fact that they're giving
Well,
out all this info.
We won't go into massive detail, but the Rebels, was it the Rebels? No, it was the Imperials image was very, 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 very wrong, and then they changed it, and then it still didn't make sense.
I think the Rebels had one too. I think when they were talking about the new configuration card. I think they were they showed them with the Starburst Slash talking about giving him a strain, and they gave him a stress.
Oh yes, they gave him a stress token.
Yeah.
But anyway, so last week we discussed the initial
It isn't
spoilers.
an FFG article without a big blunder.
This is very true. So last week we've already seen Hera Singular.
Yes.
So her ability is the same in the A-Wing as it is in her B-Wing as well. Just to remind everyone, whilst another friendly ship at range 1 to 2 defends or performs an attack, you may transfer one of your focus tokens, evade tokens, or lock tokens to that ship, which is going to be an incredibly awesome support ability, especially when you combine it with certain things. I believe we discussed points last week as well, didn't we? Because you had your thing online, didn't you, Rob? Where
I had
look at what is predicted.
Fly Casual.
What was she?
Yeah.
Like 46 or something like that.
55 is what they're calling it in Fly Casual.
55. Okay.
Yes.
My brain was thinking way cheaper.
52. Well, I mean, you think Braylon as an I4 is 52 points.
Oh, that's the B-Wing. Sorry, I was thinking of the A-Wing.
Oh, my apologies. Yes, you were talking about the A-Wing. A-Wing has her at 42, and they actually have an upload for Ahsoka, and I can talk to you about that when we get to her.
Can do. And then we also saw the vector cannons last time as well, which is it replaces the vectored thrusters on the A-Wing and replaces it with vectored cannons, meaning that during the systems phase, the A-Wing can perform either a red boost or a red rotate action, and you can only put your arc into the front or the back of the ship, just like the RZ2s. The only difference is the RZ2s can use their ability after they've moved and done a certain action.
I actually don't mind it during the system phase. Flying a lot of the ETAs lately, just the system phase boosting, it doesn't bother me. And
it's gonna be a really good card. It's gonna be used on a lot.
Really.
Maybe certain A-Wing pilots might not want to use it, depending. Like certain Jake Farrell builds, for example. He can boost and then barrel roll, or barrel and then boost, whichever order it is that he's supposed to do it in. Give a focus token to one person, then give a focus token to himself.
Well, that being said, actually, I might see. I'm thinking of using it. I'm building a list myself with Jake with this card, because this allows him to system phase, do the boost. He's not giving that focus to himself. That allows him to boost in towards a friend, give him that focus token during the system phase. There's that one rebel pilot that you get to do stuff with having a focus token before you.
If you're thinking of Garven, when we get to my little video that I've put in this slideshow that's on my screen, uses him, if that's the person you're thinking of. Garven
No,
Lewis.
it's Tubes.
No, aren't you thinking of Edrio 2 Tubes?
Yes, before you activate, if you're a focus, you may perform an action.
Ah, okay. Fair enough. That's another cool combo. But that's not what my combo is. But we'll get there. So,
yes.
So we've already seen the vector cannons and Hera Singular in both her ships. So the first pilot, we're going to go from initiative up. It's Derek.
Ooh.
Derek, after you acquire or spend a lock, you may remove one red token from yourself. It's okay.
That's just beautiful. That's just beautiful.
Is it?
You know what? I like that it's acquire a lock, not perform a lock action. So when Hera gives her lock to Derek, any kind of red token on him, including a target lock from an enemy ship, that token is gone.
Yep.
It goes bye-bye.
That's very true, actually. Yeah. So, on his own, at Initiative 3, I think his ability is a bit rubbish. It's okay. But, as you say, you take Hera in an A-wing or Hera in a B-wing. Hera does her shot. If she doesn't need the target lock, she goes, "Here, Derek, have a target lock." And then Derek goes, "Aha! You're not firing a proton torpedo at me." By removing that
Yeah.
lock.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool,
And
actually.
what's nice also is the fact that if there's nothing like that, if he's stressed, tagging rid of the stress so that next turn he can do whatever he needs to do. His dial is completely open.
Yeah,
And he can also do the
repeating red maneuvers.
that, but also because the new configuration is system phase, if you're stressed, you can't do anything.
Yes, that is very true.
So it gives a little bit of play with that, which I think is pretty nifty. It's going to be not the easiest thing to pull off, I don't think. But there are other ways for him to get locks. It can be from someone coordinating to him. Lando, for example, giving out a free action, giving him the ability to take a lock action, which acquires a lock, and then allows him to get rid of the token.
Yep. As long as
And
he's
the
not stressed, as we said.
Right. Well, go ahead, Mark.
Ubiquitous, my man Dutch. Ubiquitous Dutch target locks for everybody.
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
What's also
threat-
awesome. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
There, give some locks. No, there's just like thread trace and things like that. I think that's going to be viable for him as well.
Yep. And then also the other part of that ability is spend a lock. So say he's got a lock. Say he's going to fire a concussion missile. Right there, he fires his missile, spends the lock to reroll. Even if he doesn't need the reroll, he can spend the lock so he can remove that stress token that he got or whatever red token he wants to get rid of.
That is actually quite decent, to be fair. I can very much see like a synergetic A-wing list being built of just Rebel A-wings between the new Wedge, Jake, Hera, Derek, Chara Bay. It's going to be so fun.
You think we're going to see some A-wing swarms that are named instead of generics?
Well, I love flying a swarm of RZ2 A-wings times 4
Yeah.
or times 5. So yeah, I'm going to be trying to fly 5 A-wing rebels. It'd be fantastic.
Right.
How many
That sounds
points
exciting.
does it say? Does it have Derek on your little app there, Rob?
Let's see if they have it. I know they did some, they didn't do all, but let's see. I think yes, Derek, they are clocking in at 32.
Wow, that's a prediction. That sounds very cheap.
They also have Sabine on there. I don't know. We didn't get a card for Sabine, but they did go ahead and add Sabine to the list of A-wing pilots on Fly Casual since her card was announced, just didn't show. They have her also at 32.
Fair enough. That's pretty. That sounds cheap to me. I mean, I know the RZ1 A-wings are cheaper than the RZ2s.
Right. Well, you got to think. Green Squadron pilots, which is the exact same initiative, just without an ability, is 30.
Fair enough. It's been a long time since I've looked at Rebel A-wings. To be fair, if I've ever looked at Rebel A-wings before, it's yes, Jake Farrell. Click. That's the one I'm using.
Oh wow! I just realized that Arvel is also 32 points.
Nice.
So yeah, no, that makes sense. The initiative 3s, they're clocking in at 32. Yeah. Oh, good. So yeah, I'm looking
So
at
the good news is that
Mhm.
the good news is the 5 I already own stand a chance of having outing. That's not accounting the 2 that I'm getting in the pack. So I need the points to come down so I can fit 7.
Well, I was telling Will that sometime in the near future, I'm planning on playing an epic game. You're gonna build a 200 point. Oh, actually, I might just let you just build a 250 point list. Initially, I was gonna say build a 200 point list, and then you get 50 points of epic only upgrades, so we can play around with some of the new toys that are epic only. There's actually quite a few
the
epic only
epic
upgrades.
card that's coming in the Rebels pack is at the end of this. Is the last thing that we'll talk about, which is quite cool.
Completely forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So moving on from Derek, We would have Wedge at initiative 4 because it's a young Wedge, the promising pilot, as it says there. We did briefly discuss this last week. His ability is, whilst you perform a primary attack, if the defender is in your front arc, the defender rolls 1 for your defense dice. So it's the same as his X-wing ability, apart from the X-wing ability allows you to reduce dice when you're firing proton torpedo, which is why Wedge, until he's in the X-wing, can be quite brutal. But
Yes.
I can see this guy having use in the A-wing as well, because it's still a good ability. A-wings only have 2 dice attack, reducing the enemy's agility, whether it's through Starburst Lash or Wedge's ability or outmaneuver. It's all worth doing to get that damage through.
Here's a question for you. So with the X-wing, a lot of people fly outmaneuver because, I mean, outmaneuver and Wedge's ability is just fantastic. You have 2 talent slots on an A-wing. What
Mhm.
2 talents do you put on Wedge? Outmaneuver, I mean, that seems like a pretty much a good staple, but that gives you an option for a second upgrade.
It depends on the list and how many points you've got. 'Cause you got to remember, outmaneuver is quite expensive.
But he is going to be cheaper because it's going to be on an I4 instead of an I6. But you're right, it is an expensive card.
True.
I'm okay with it.
As the second ability, I'd be putting any of the 1-point upgrades on. If Rebels had heroic, then it'd be the 2-point heroic. But they don't have heroic. They aren't heroic yet. They haven't turned into the distance. So it'd be marksmanship, starboard, slash, maybe predator at 2 points.
There you go.
If he fails an action, you could do what's it called? That allows you to do a focus.
Closure.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. And actually, I just looked it up. Outmaneuver is a solid 6 points. I thought it scaled, but no.
Yeah, I
It's
thought
just
so.
6.
It's just 6 points across the board.
I think Slash, like you say, is worth it. I mean, it is circumstantial, but there will be a time when, you know, he is going to fly through somebody, or even if it's another one of his A-wing swarms that flies over somebody. The more strain you can dish out, and with Wedge and outmaneuver, you know, you in theory you could get somebody who's normally a tank, and then going, no, you haven't got any dice. So you know, if you take a mid-range defender, for example, and they've got their focus evade, they've only got their 3 dice. Well, if that's down to 1 dice with focus and evade, all of a sudden that's not a tanky defender anymore.
No, that's a squidgy defender. Starburst
And
Slash
that's
is only 1 point as well. So I mean,
Yeah.
as other admin Mark said last week, Starburst Slash isn't that great just because it doesn't proc often, but it's 1 point, and in resistance you basically always staple on heroic because heroic's great for that time that you blank out. And
Which
then
with A-wings happens a lot.
yeah,
At least when I
Yeah.
fly them.
or like it's when you're rolling 2 dice. Generally, it's more likely to happen with 2 dice mathematically. So having heroic on the A-wings attack dice, and then you'd go, I'll roll 2 blanks. Never mind, heroic, re-roll. Yeah, 2 hits. So Starburst Slash, you know, if you've got the points and you don't know what else to put on it, then slap it on.
I think
Fly over
Starboard,
someone. Hopefully, you strain them.
looking at the PDF from FFG, Starboard Slash is a total whopping 1 point upgrade. That's serious.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
no way.
it's only 1 point. That's why I'm saying if you've got enough room, you just slap it on there. So yeah, as you said, Mark, Wedge can fly over the
Why
top
not?
of someone. If he's done a K turn, obviously because he needs to be out of his front arc, then that strain will reduce the agility by 2. And then if he's got outmaneuver as well, it reduces it by 3. I think we mentioned that last week as well, which is just madness. Absolute madness.
That's how you kill Vader and Defender in
But you
one
see,
shot.
again, yeah, so again, the issue with that is you go, yeah, but he's just Wedge and he's just pilot skill 4 and he's just in an A-wing and he'll die as quickly as all the others. Yes, he will, but all of a sudden he's then a target in your list. So it might be that Wedge just runs away for most of it while they're trying to chase him down and get rid of him because they're so scared of the fact that he might be able to get their defender with 0 defense dice or something along those lines. So it depends what you're pairing him with. But in terms of a threat, he is a fairly hefty threat because nobody wants to roll no defense dice unless you're in a decimator.
Exactly.
How much?
Yes.
How much is Wedge in the X-wing cost base?
Isn't he near 60? I don't have my phone to hand.
Here it is. I had the PDF up.
He's less than Luke. He's 50
He's
something, I think.
54 he's 54 points. So 54 points there. Fly Casual is predicting Wedge at 34 points. So that's a 20-point discount.
I'll take A-wing Wedge at 34 points and stick. And if the vectored cannons is like what 3 points or something like that, that's 37 points. I'd stay. That's still pretty good. 38 with starboard slash. Then it goes up to 44 with outmaneuver. That's pretty good in my opinion. A ship that can reduce dice potentially up to reduce defense dice by potentially up to 3 dice for 44 points. I'll take it.
And you can bug that in a list with Han in the Falcon.
Yes.
And all the tricks and something else.
Yep.
Jake. Throw on Jake because Jake thinks.
Yep.
Let's move on to the next one. Next one is Shara Bay, also initiative 4, green 4. Before I read her ability, is it just me or does that artwork look like an RZ2, not as a RZ1?
I'm with you on that. It does look a little bit futuristic. But to be fair, doesn't she fly the A-Wings near the end of its life cycle?
Probably.
I think she was in an A-Wing during the Battle of Endor. I can't remember her canon. Because I know she was there because Poe was conceived after the Battle of Battle of Endor. Yeah.
Now
So
there's
she
a
was
deleted
there.
scene we never got.
Post conception.
Star Wars, the R-rated version.
And the other thing I've noticed about the artworks as well is that all of the Blue Squadron artwork A-Wings, like Wedge, they all have a completely flat front nose. Now,
That's weird. You're right.
I don't
Well,
know
even
if
Hera's isn't even flat.
no. Hera's is flat as well. Yeah, in Rebels, are the A-Wings actually flat? Skip forward too much there. If in Rebels the A-Wings are actually flat nose, then I understand. If not, then that's a mistake on a lot of artwork. Because in my opinion, they should have this prong nose. I mean, the model has the prong nose. I'm probably nitpicking a bit too much, but I just find it a bit weird.
Yes, I'm looking at a screenshot of an A-Wing in Rebels, and it is completely flat. There's no little nudge in the middle. It doesn't come out or anything.
Interesting.
So, yeah, that is a design straight from the show.
Right, fair enough. It's from the show then, but like the model, and I'm pretty sure the A-Wings in Return of the Jedi had a fork nose. But whatever. Moving on from that nitpick. Shara Bay, green 4. Whilst you defend or perform a primary attack, you may spend 1 lock you have on the enemy ship to add 1 focus result to your dice result. So she can't help other people out.
Right.
But she can add a focus result to her primary attack. So as long as she has that lock and then her initial roll is accurate, you can spend the lock to add an extra focus result and then focus.
I do want to make a correction from a statement we made last weekend with the Shara Bay ability in the arc.
Oh, yeah.
It is the exact same ability. Her ability in the arc is also primary only. So there's 0 difference. The only difference is she is now in an A-Wing.
Yes. How many points does your little lap say?
34. They're pretty much keeping everything at the same initiative at the same cost, so there's probably going to be some variance within a couple points.
Yeah, up
'Cause
a
I was
point,
looking
down
at
a
it.
point, depending on the ability.
Yeah, because I know Jake's also at 34, and like all the 34s, I mean, all the 4s are 34, all the 3s are 32. So it looks like they're just basing it off of that. And it kind of makes sense. I mean, they're going to be in that ballpark 1 or 2 points difference, to be honest. That makes a lot of sense. Unless they think the ability is too good and they upcharge it ridiculously.
Yes.
Like some pilots have had happen.
Now, looking at Shara Bay's ability on its own, again, I will say, in my opinion, it's a bit meh. Like, I'd never really fly arcs anyway, but I think her ability is a bit. It's okay in the arc, and then it's okay on the A-wing. It's just in a nicer ship, with more agility and a better dial. But
she needs a friend. That's her problem. Is she needs a friend.
Yes.
To give her an extra.
Again, we refer back to Hera. So Shara rocks up. She focuses. Hera target locks, or might have a target lock from previous turn. Hera can pass a target lock to Shara after she's rolled, and then Shara can spend that lock to add a focus result with her ability and then focus. So
Ooh,
again, we're referring back
yeah.
to Hera. Hera is going to be so useful.
And that's smart doing the lock with Hera because this way, she'll probably be able to see where anyone on the other team has already moved to. So she knows who Share is going to be able to spend that lock on to get the focus.
Yes.
Who would be the best one? So yeah, that's.
And Hera's range is 0 to 3. Is that right?
I'll go back.
1 to 2.
1 to 2.
It is 1 to 2.
Yeah, I mean, my gut feeling with this is I'm a Rebel synergy player anyway, so I've flown Shara Bay in the Ark loads of times, and having somebody that can pass you something, and having a synergy build is kind of my thing anyway. But for me, Shara Bay and Jake are going to be a nice little wingman and wing.
That is very
woman
true
pair.
because Jake can give her a focus. That is very, very true.
So Jake can chuck her the focus for free, give himself for free. They're both I4. They can both keep up with each other. So no matter where Jake goes, Shara's going to be relatively close. Whereas the B wings are going to struggle to keep up with the A wings.
Yes. The example that I've made in a couple of slides on from this for a combo that I've thought of, Hera is in the A wing. Like you could take her in the B wing for my example, but then you're flying 3 completely different ships with different dials, and that just makes it really hard. Whereas if it's
I keep forgetting Hera's in the A wing as well.
Yeah, Hera's in the A wing as well. This is the thing, which makes it just fantastic. So if you're taking Hera if you're going to take Jake, then I take Hera in the A wing because then they can keep up with each other, and then X-wings have a decent dial, and they can probably keep up fairly well with A-wings as well. At least for the initial alpha strike, anyway. So yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, Sharpay is pretty good, especially when you pair her up with, as Mark said, Jake, and as we all said, Hera.
Yeah.
The final reveal pilot is Ahsoka Tano. Oh yes, Initiative 5.
And I called it with the 3 force charges.
Yes, you did. She has the 3 force charges, which is fantastic. I will read out her ability again. So after you fully execute a maneuver, you may choose a friendly ship at range 1 to 2 and spend 2 force tokens. That ship may perform an action even whilst stressed. So comparing that to the Delta ability, it's 1 force more expensive. She can't use it on herself. But her Delta ability is 0 to 1. Whereas this A-Wing's ability is 1 to 2, which is a much, much greater range.
I didn't realize that she can use it on herself. Wow.
In the Delta, she can use it on herself.
Yeah. Yeah, because I do that all the time. I didn't realize in the A-Wing that she can't do that now because it's 1 to 2, not 0 to 2.
No, but it does have a much, much bigger range.
It does.
So again, Ahsoka, if you want to fly, probably the most expensive A-Wing, because I really do think because of the Force, she's going to end up being more expensive than even Hera.
They're calling it 45 for her.
Really?
Fly casual, yeah.
That's too cheap.
They're also giving her a Force and a regular talent upgrade slot.
Oh, right, okay. That makes sense, to be honest, though, because obviously A-Wings get 2 talent slots, don't they?
Yeah.
So mixing that up and having a talent slot and a Force slot, which is the same as the ETA2s.
Except for Yoda, yeah.
Except for Yoda. But again, synergy, Ahsoka is again someone that can help give out actions.
That's true.
So
is there anybody else that's got Force and a talent slot?
I think it's literally just the ETA2s. We haven't seen Vader yet. Well, we won't see the slots on these at all. But Vader in the Defender,
not the official slots.
Maybe could have a talent slot and a Force slot.
Yeah, I feel like Vader. There's the talent slot. If they give him a if they give him a Force talent slot, it's going to be pretty much useless. But you got to think too. He wouldn't be the only ship that has a useless upgrade slot. looking at the TIE Phantoms
If-
with the gunner slot.
If the rumors are true, the Vader doesn't get a system slot. We'll talk about this when we talk about the
Oh, yeah.
Imperials, to be honest. But if he doesn't have a system slot, then I'd understand if he had a talent slot and a force slot. If he had a system slot and then also got a talent slot and a force slot, that'd be too powerful. But anyway, we'll talk about the Imperials on the next episode. So yeah, Ahsoka Tano, she will be great. And again, she can spend force to apply actions, whatever actions they want to do to other ships, even when they are stressed. So if one of your ships doesn't have a focus token yet, like Shara, doesn't have a target lock yet, could provide an extra token to Hera to give out to other people.
Yeah.
Who knows? The options are endless. It's brilliant.
Yeah, she can give Hera another action so that Hera has a focus and a lock that she can freely give to whoever. So she's got multiple things to give out. How do you build?
She can get that with Jake as well. This is the thing. You can have Jake, Hera, and Ahsoka, and then you'll end up with 2 ships with at least a focus and a target lock. Through just the fact that Jake can boost and barrel, give himself a focus, and give someone else a focus. And then Hera can rocket up and target lock, and Ahsoka Tano can make Hera have a focus, and then Hera can pass a focus to Ahsoka Tano. She needs to focus in an attack. It's mind-boggling. I think the next slide is my video. No, it's not. We need to talk about Hera in the B-Wing first.
Okay.
So obviously we've seen Hera already. We know what she does. B-Wing's just a slower, tankier ship. Yes, we're talking about this first. So last week we saw the B6 Bladewing Prototype, and we all got very excited. Obviously, this is epic only.
Yes.
And it has a very, very nice attack that practically, well, it deals more damage and potentially like double damage on things. It's a really, really aggressive weapon, not a cannon. It's not a cannon. It just literally adds an attack. So your B-Wing would end up with a primary attack, this attack, and cannon attacks if you equip cannons to it, and torpedo attacks if you equip cannons to it. How many weapons do they want on these things?
Well, to be fair, that attack can literally do just 1 damage if it hits.
Yes.
It is absolutely possible to do only 1 single damage with that card.
It is, yes. But when it works, that thing will be massive damage. Massive damage.
It'll be really great on an when firing against an epic ship, which I think is the total design of it, especially with what we got for the standard play, which we'll get to here very shortly.
Yes. So we all got really excited thinking, what would the standard version of this be? The standard version would just be a dumbed down, maybe less attack dice, maybe less range, maybe not deal extra crit damage, just deal extra damage. And then they revealed it and it only adds a gunner slot.
Yep. Which, of course, the epic one does as well. It adds the gunner slot, but that's literally all it does.
Yes. Which is fine. I mean, it's the same as what happened in 1.0. We got an upgrade that applied a gunner slot. I'm hoping this time it's 0 points, though, and not 1 point, making, i.e., gunners just become slightly more expensive because you have to add the gunner slot.
What gunner would you put on?
No, when you posted, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Mark.
I know when you, yeah, I know when you posted on the Facebook page that you were gutted about the gunner slot, and I was about to wade in and go, yeah, but the gunner slot's really, really good. But then rereading all the gunners cards, all the decent gunner cards, you have to have a mobile turret, which this doesn't have. So the only really decent gunner card you can have is Sabine.
And the systems officer.
And the systems officer, maybe hotshot gunner.
Yeah, maybe hotshot gunner for high initiatives like Hera, but I think that's very expensive to put on a B-Wing because B-Wings are a bit squishy. But yeah, so slight disappointment there that we were all thinking maybe we might get an extra cool, different attack for a B-Wing, and then it's just like, it's a gunner slot. But it makes sense, and hopefully it's free. If it's 1 point, I won't complain, but hopefully it's just free, and then you just add a gunner.
I wanted a B-Wing Bistan list. So I could call it Bistan.
Oh dear. So yeah, that adds a gunner slot to the B-Wing. Might be able to figure out some form of shenanigans with that.
Because why not? You could throw on Luke Skywalker just so that the B-Wing has a force charge.
Go for it.
Right. So next slide is the little video that I've made on TTS. You guys won't be able to see this, but I'll just talk you through it anyway. So this is my idea for one combo. So I'm going to start playing it. It didn't go exactly how I imagined it in TTS, but basically you take Hera, Jake, and Garvin. Whether they'll end up being points for an extra fourth ship, who knows? But they all have swarm tactics, and whatever proton torpedo or proton rocket you want to equip with them. And what happens is Jake boosts with vectored cannons in the systems phase, and then gives Hera a focus. Hera can then boost in the systems phase if she wants. All the ships then move. Jake focuses or rolls into position first and then gives himself a focus. Garvin rocks up and locks. Hera locks as she's already got a focus from Jake. And then Hera swarm attacks to Jake, and Jake does the same to Garvin, so they're all now at initiative 6.
Which
Garvin's
Garven are you flying?
the
Are you talking
X-wing.
about Garven?
The X-wing.
Okay.
Garvin shoots at range 1 in this video, but it could be at range 2 shooting a proton torpedo or any other torpedo you want. If he needs B, he can take a focus from Hera, and then he can spend that focus and then give it back to Hera with his own ability, so that Hera can then give it to someone else, which is amazing. I've actually forgot about doing that in the video, but Garvin ended up not needing it because he just re-rolled and then got some hits anyway. Jake fires next. He fires his Procket. If he needs B, he can take Hera's lock to re-roll. In this case, he did, and then he focused with his own token. But either way, if he didn't take the lock off Hera, Hera would still have a focus and a lock to fire off her primary weapon or any kind of torpedo if she's in the B-wing, or any kind of missile if she's in the A-wing, and that's after providing Garvin with a focus and it being passed back to her and letting Jake lose her lock, which is amazing. So out of 3 ships and just passing stuff around, you've got at least 2 ships that have fully modded ordnance or primary attacks.
Wow.
Just between 3 ships. It didn't go
And you
exactly
know-
as planned in my video, but the decimator, if I did it right, I'm not sure if I did, I might have added 1 crit too many. 1 dice missed because it just ended up re-rolling into a blank anyway. But that decimator in the video, which you'll see when it uploads, ended up on 2 health. If I did it right, it might have supposed to have been 3 health, but it was. I did one of the crits that I put through was a hull breach, and then it went into a fuel leak, and then that fuel leak went into another fuel leak, and then it was just like, oh shit, I'm on fire, and I've only got 2 health left.
Oh man.
So
And you know,
the
that
crits there
Okay.
were in my favor, but that is the combo. You've got focus being passed around between Garvin, Jake giving focus to other people, Hera giving focus and locks to other people, and they just all share stuff. They're
Here's a
within
question for you.
range of each other.
Here's a question for you. If the points allow, because of the ability is the exact same points, do you spend 3 points to change Garvin from the X-wing to the Arc?
You could do. It's completely up to you. I mean, the X-wing can keep up with the A-wings more. If you're going to take Hera in the B-wing and not take Jake, then maybe the Arc. If you're going to do a tanky list, and then you can do exactly the same. Hera can give Garvin a focus token, and then
That's a good
Garvin can
point.
give the focus token back to Hera in the B-wing. Works exactly the same way, which is just madness. But yeah, that's that. The video's ended on my screen now. That is 3 pilot skill 6 ships, thanks to swarm tactics, all firing off with either primary attacks or ordnance. 2 of them getting double mods and ripping something apart. In this case, a very vulnerable decimator that I just used as a test run.
I just thought of something. I don't think it works. Can you use swarm tactics in conjunction with a heightened perception?
Good question. What does read heightened perception for me?
Well, let me pull up a pilot that can bring
Oh,
it.
just let me get me folder. Hold on.
Heightened perception. Here it is. At the start of the engagement phase, you may spend 1 charge if you do engage at initiative 7 instead of your standard initiative value this phase.
So no, because it's at a different phase. Is it?
Let's see.
I think. Sorry, just read
Squad-
the first part again. Is it at the start of engagement phase?
Start of
Start the
engagement.
engagement phase, you may spend 1 charge. If you do at initiative, you can engage initiative 7 instead of your standard phase. So I think it does.
Yeah, you could do initiative. If that works, then yes, because you can stack them in whatever order needs be. So you can do heightened perception into swarm tactics, and then have 3 power skill 7 ships. Points allowing, there might even be room for a third A-wing there. That was just me throwing together the combo.
Oh, you know what? I don't know. Well, let's see. The way high perception works, if you do engage at initiative 7, where swarm tactics reads, sort of engagement phase, you may choose one friendly ship at range 1. If you do, that ship treats its initiative value, or its initiative as equal to yours until the end of the round. So when you're at 7, you don't treat yours as 7. You just engage at 7.
That is true.
So yeah, I don't
Maybe
think
it
that
doesn't
comes
work then.
forward.
Yeah,
Dang.
yeah. It probably
No.
doesn't work. It's probably too good to be true to end up with a 777 shooting list. Someone would probably have already done that. To be fair, somewhere.
Yeah.
if that worked. Nice try though. Nice thought. Because I'd have probably fallen for it as well by first looking at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the combo that I thought of. And then if you did have Hera in the B wing, the B wing now has this new B6 Bladewing Prototype title, adding a gunner slot, and you chuck a weapons systems officer onto her. So even if you're not doing swarm tactics, or even if you are, Hera could fire first with a torpedo, spend the lock to reroll the torpedo, and then weapons systems officer goes, after you perform a special attack with the target lock requirement, you may acquire a lock on defender. So you regain a second lock, and then you can either use that second lock to fire a cannon with the B-wing config, or that target lock is there for when the next person attacks for Hera to pass it on.
Oh.
Which is also really nice.
It is, but the only issue with that is that all of the torps are going to be expensive.
Yes.
Or the ones that you're likely to want to use are going to be expensive.
Yes.
So you're going to automatically rule out protons because they're what, 13
12
points or whatever.
13 points.
12 points.
Yeah.
So you're then down to advanced proton, which is brilliant. 6 points, is it? But then you've got to be at range 1. Maybe not. So then you're looking at plasmas, which they're okay, but they're not protons. So how many cannon slots does the B-wing have?
I think 2.
It's 2,
So,
yeah.
in theory, I thought they had 2. So in theory, a cannon is a special attack. So if they had 2 cannons, in theory, you could auto blaster. That's the you've got after you perform a special attack with the target lock requirement, you may acquire a lock. So you can do a cannon. I'm not saying you would do a jamming beam, but let's just pretend for a minute. You could do your jamming beam or your tractor beam, spend the lock, get a free one, then do an auto blaster.
Yep.
And that will still probably be cheaper than going down the torp route.
That's exactly right. Yes, I agree.
Wait a
That's
second.
probably a better thing to do.
I want to double check something really quick. I just thought of something you were talking about with the double cannons.
Mhm.
So you were talking about jamming tractor beam so that they're rolling 1 less agility.
Yeah. Mark mentioned that.
Yeah.
But,
So that would be wow.
That's me, king of jank.
If you were to choose, if points wasn't an issue, which like cannon ability would you rather have? Would you rather have jamming beam or would you rather have tractor beam?
Tractor. Hands down.
Tractor.
Tractor.
I've
rather have
never
tractor.
ever seen jam beam ever matter in any 2.0 game that I've ever watched.
If Darth Vader in a defender comes really viable, and then you think you can hit him with a jamming beam, then it might become viable to get rid of an evade token and a focus token.
Yeah, but see, also the thing is, most of the time with your ships that have jamming beam, those pilots are usually one of the last ones to shoot.
Well, Hera is at initiative 6, so shove it.
Yeah.
Say you just shove a jamming beam on her, which is free. So she goes,
True.
right, special attack jamming beam. She hits something, gets rid of their focused or evade token. systems officer gives her a lock back, and then she just fires. Oh no, because the config has to be a cannon afterwards as well, doesn't it? Yes,
Right.
it does.
Was that
Never
Mark-
mind,
you
just grab that.
see, to me, tractor beam into auto blaster, because just nothing is going to be better than a B-wing barrel rolling somebody into range 1 and 2 in their bullseye arc to proc the auto blaster.
Yes, and hopefully,
How cool
and
is
hopefully,
that?
and hopefully you're not in their arc, so that any crits that you roll, hello marksmanship, or is marksmanship primary only?
It's
I think it's
bullseye. It's bullseye. It's the only
as long as
requirement.
it's in the bullseye. Yeah, so that does proc.
Yeah, but I mean, is it primary attack only? I'm looking.
No,
at
it's
Once
just
you
No,
perform
you
an attack,
just need
yes.
to be in the bullseye.
So hopefully they aren't facing you, and you tractor beam them, pull them in the way you need into the bullseye arc. You're rolling an extra dice, and you can change a hit to a crit with marksmanship, and auto blasters like, yeah, you're not evading those, mate. Please take these critical hits. Please be
Oh,
on
man.
your hull as well, and please be a hull breach. So yeah, that's
Hello
pretty
there.
cool.
yeah.
What's next? We're off the pilots now. There are other. I forgot to add the spread to it. Actually, there are other B-wing pilots that we haven't seen yet.
Oh, there are.
Yes, I think there's
There's
one
only
or
one named
two.
one.
Is there one?
No, there's one. It's got a very strange name. The others are just the generics.
Right. So there's one B-wing that we haven't properly seen yet.
Wait, are we getting a new generic, or it's just an extra
No,
copy of the ones we already
It's
have?
just an extra copy of the
Uh,
existing ones.
Which will just go
When I
into my
looked at the-
spare stock folder.
Yeah, so when I looked at the leaked German copy thing, it's just basically your Blue Squadron and all of that.
Fair play. So we haven't seen that B-wing yet, and then obviously we haven't fully seen Sabine Wren in the A-wing. There's a lot of A-wing pilots in this pack, which just makes me really freaking happy. But yes, moving on from the pilots, we have a new gunner, which is Rebel only, and it's Sabine. First time I had to read this several times because it is a bit of a chunk of text.
It is.
I'll let someone else read it out for once. Mark, do you want to read this out?
Which
Hello.
I
Mark?
can.
We got
Sabine
the
Wren.
Mark admin is in the chat.
Is he?
Yes.
Hello.
Oh my God! It's a wild mark. A wild mark has appeared.
I said hello 3 times.
I didn't hear.
I
I don't know
trying
about-
to acknowledge
Did you
it.
win?
Did you win your game?
I did win my game.
Yeah. What score did you get?
1 second.
You better come back with 200-0 after making us wait this long.
I wish it was 200-0. It wouldn't have taken nearly 2 hours to play the game. I won 171 to 144.
Ooh. What you were against?
I was against Jostero, Tyrannical Mux, and Constable Zuvio.
That sounds like a
Oh
fun-
yeah, I remember. Look at this. It looked like a very janky scum list. They obviously managed to hurt
Yeah.
your dinner plates a bit.
Yeah. Sarge pretty much got taken off the board. Not Sarge. Ketsu got pretty much taken off the board in one turn.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Well, we
Well,
are...
do you know something? Not only have you won your game, you've won something far more valuable and important than that, which is our respect.
Yes.
There you go, mate.
Yes.
Well done. No
So
hint of
thank you.
sarcasm whatsoever.
So, Mark, admin Mark, we are most of the way through. We've just gone past all of the pilots, and we're now about to look at Sabine Wren. So, seeing as though you're now here, can you read
Okay.
out Sabine Wren for me
Oh, if I must.
when he gets there?
Yeah. After you perform a special attack, you may choose a number of friendly ships at range 0 to 0 of the defender, up to the number of damage cards dealt to the defenders during that attack. Each chosen ship may remove 1 strain or stress token.
Yes. As I said earlier, I had to read that several times, and I'm still reading it several times now because it's a bit wordy. Someone explain how this works, because to be honest, I still what?
Okay, I can break this down to wax crayon for you.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, Sabine rocks up. She does an attack on the ship that she's on. Does an attack on somebody, and let's say she does 3 damage cards. The ships that she has chosen can each dispose of up to 3 stress or stress tokens.
Aha. Okay. How often is that going to
Does that make sense?
No. Each ship may remove 1 token, so you can choose that many ships, but they can only remove 1 token.
Yes, sorry, I went the other way around. Yeah, so
that
you
makes
could choose
more
3
sense.
ships that could all get rid of a red token,
Yes.
strain or stress.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it can't
So-
rapidly recover someone that's got lots of stress
No.
on it.
So say she's in a list of and you say 4, you choose 4, but you only do 3 damage. Only 3 of the 4 ships can remove a token.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And I love that her
that
the
makes
ability
sense.
her ability does work on the ship she's on because it is
Mhm.
a friendly ship at 0 to 3.
Yes. If
And
it
it is
didn't,
going to be a B-wing that's going to be stressed.
yes. So put the B-wing title. You can team up with Hera or something, and then if Hera ends up being stressed by doing a focus barrel linked action, hopefully Hera hits something, and then Speedrun's like, there, Hera, it's okay. You can de-stress now. Your dial is
she would be
open.
fun. She would be fun on Braylon. He wouldn't get his rerolling for defense, but he would definitely have his reroll for offense, and then his dials open for the next turn.
An option.
Because, again, thinking about this, that if it's on Hera, she's only got to push 1 damage card through to get her stress.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's pretty good.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
It's damage cards as well, so it don't count if you're just taking shields or something.
No, it has to be a damage card. But at that point, if she is punching damage through, shedding that stress like you won't believe. Every round, she could pretty much shed a stress, hopefully.
Yeah. Does your
So, are you ever going to use it to get 3 ships to do it? Probably not. But
Are you going to do it for yourself? Yes.
are you going to do it for yourself? Yeah, probably.
Now, what rebel ships have a gunner slot? Because we keep talking about putting her in the B wing. She's a gunner that can fit in any ship with the gunner upgrade on the rebels list. One thing I was looking at was her as a gunner in the Ghost with all their red maneuvers.
which makes
That's going
sense
to be an
because
easy way to clear that
Phoenix
stress.
Squadron.
It does require a
How
special
about her on
weapon.
Dash?
That's
A
true.
special
You need
attack is
special weapons.
anything.
Well, so
Yep.
it'd have to be ordnance on certain ships like the Falcon with a missile slot.
Right. Anything that's not a primary. So the Ghosts with their turret shots or their ordnance shot, the Falcon with their ordnance shot. K-Wings can do
Does
them.
the
They have
Hawk have a gunner slot?
No. I think it's got crew.
I think it's crew, yeah.
yeah, but they don't have a way to shoot a special attack. I think it's
Oh, no,
straight
this
up
is true.
just
Yeah,
primary.
it's just a turret, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
or even with the title, that's just a primary.
Can the Phantoms take a special and a gunner slot?
Phantoms are
The attack shuttle can, I think.
Yes, the attack
Mm,
shuttle can.
it's got a crew slot. I'm looking
it's
at
not.
it.
It's not a gunner slot. What about the sheath?
The
I'm guessing it's the same on the
K-Wing?
sheathipede.
The K-Wing and the
Sheath
Y-Wings
doesn't
can
have
do
a
it.
turret.
No, it doesn't. Yep, you're right. So not on the Phantoms.
No.
So you're looking at the B wings.
With the title, arcs. Arcs have it.
They don't.
I'm
They
actually.
don't,
I'm
they don't
pulling.
have. They don't have a gun at the arcs.
They don't. I thought they did.
It's a
No,
crew.
no,
It's-
two-
Oh no, they do have a
Oh,
crew. Sorry,
yeah,
they,
they have crew.
Because they can have veteran
they do
turret
have
gunner.
they do have a gunner slot. So
Okay.
B wing, arc, Y wing,
Y-Wing, K-Wing.
yep,
Be
K
pretty good in a
wing,
Y-wing.
And then you got the YT
Falcon.
1300s, 2400s.
In fact, thinking about it, it's really good in a Y-wing
Ooh. Yeah.
because that thing has no
that's
dial
it.
at all.
Y wing, B wing, arc, and Falcon. That's it. And K wing. So 5 ships that she can go
And
on.
you said did you say the 2400?
Oh yeah, the 2400 as well. Yeah, I must have scrolled past that on my phone.
And then of course the VCX 100, the Ghost.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hold on. Why is it good on a Y-wing? Because they've got to perform a special attack, which inevitably on a Y-wing is going to be
Turret attack.
the turret attack with an ion cannon, probably.
Yep.
And the ion cannon is going to do 1 damage, and the rest is ion.
Not necessarily.
So,
If you're
If
flying,
it's going to be shields first, it might be ages before it kicks in.
well, it
But
depends because you could be flying the
gonna get it
fucking
every
torpedo
turn.
version of the Y-wing.
Yeah, that is
Whereas
true.
if you're taking it on something like the Ghost, it's either going to be a turret attack or a torp. Obviously, torps have a limited shelf life. You're not getting a lot. Yeah, you're not going to get a lot work out of it. Whereas
Y-wing
obviously, if
should
you
reload.
stick it on something like a Y-wing, you can reload. You also have a turret that you can shoot with every turn. So you're just going to get more efficiency out of it.
Oh, and do you know who's really good in the
reload
Y-wing?
stress you as well? No, the reload gives you a disarm. Sorry, no.
Who's good in the Y-wing?
It is a red reload in the Y-wing.
Oh, it is a red reload. Does
Yeah.
reload still give you a disarm?
It does.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
But
But
if you've got a pilot skill 5 Nora, and she gets that evade for being in people's faces, I think that's going to make Nora quite more tanky because she can still barrel roll and get rid of it if she does some damage.
huh. That is very interesting. So yeah, I feel like Sabine, like people were writing her off, but because people are only thinking about putting her in the B-wing, there are other ships she can go in and actually be beneficial.
It depends how many points she costs.
Yeah.
Does your little app have her on there, Rob?
I don't know. Let me pull up a ship that can equip her.
Because if she's like 5 points, I'd and ah about putting her on certain things.
I don't think she's going to be very expensive at all.
No, and I think this is, like I say, one of those cards that's likely to be overlooked because I think people are going to go, oh, it's a bit wordy, I don't really understand it. Whereas if it just said, if you deal a damage card, get rid of a stress token, you'd go, I'll have that, please.
Yes.
They have her predicted as 1 point.
If she's 1 point, then yeah, freaking staple her on the first thing that you have that fits the bill. That's if she's 1 point. I think I'd be happy up to with her, depending on the build, up to 3 points. I think max
3 or 4
should be 3 points. If she ends up being 5 points or more, no, not worth it. I'd rather have something else. Next card is the Rebel only EPT, which is hopeful. I still think it's a bit of a chubby layer artwork, or
I like it.
As Mark said, it's the deep fake off.
It is the deep fake
off Rogue One. It just looks a bit off to me. But the ability is similar to Cutthroat. When
it's similar to all of them.
Well, yes. Well, we're not talking about the Imperials yet, but similar to Cutthroat we spoke about last week. It's after another friendly ship at range 0 to 3 is destroyed. If that ship is limited or has the hopeful upgrade, you may perform a focus or a boost action, whereas the Scum, it was recover an energy on anything that's equipped to you.
This will be really good on the low initiative A-wings.
Yeah, I was just thinking about A-wing swarm with that upgrade.
Yes, so points willing. This could be Rebels
I don't
version
think there'll be many points.
This could be Rebels version of Heroic. Like
yes.
A-wings have 2 EPT slots. If we go back to my combo earlier, you got Swarm Tactics, and then you staple on Hopeful, and then when one of your A-wings at the lower initiative dies, suddenly everything else goes, oh no, focus up, guys, or boost into a better position. Maybe someone can boost round and have the bullseye arc, then non-target fire or proc it.
Also, another really good thing with Hopeful on A-wings, they're not red actions, so you can still link them.
Ooh,
right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be really fun. That card would be really fun on an X-wing with their if their wings are closed, being able to focus and then link that to a boost.
Bearing in mind on the A-wings, you can only do the links if you don't have vectored cannons.
Yes, that is true.
So if you're not
Now,
taking vectored cannons, then yeah, hopeful might be a bit
Yeah.
better. But either way, I like it. If something dies, everyone else suddenly goes, let's have a more accurate shot if they haven't shot yet, or be able to defend if the rest of the opponent's list about to
Yeah.
shoot them, and you've got that extra focus
If you
token.
lots of
Fly
A-wings
casual-
with protops.
Fly Casual has it predicted at one point, and I actually agree with that. And here's why: it's performing a focus or a boost action. If you've already focused and or boosted, that card is useless.
This is true. Or well, you just do the opposite one that ship hasn't done. It's unlikely that a ship will have done both a focus or a boost action. I mean, in the A-wing, depending on how you want to get into
Oh.
position, yes, it might have done a focus and a boost, but generally you'll have only done one or the other, and then you can choose to do one.
And what I will
Here's
also
a-
say with that as well, another limitation is if you've already done 2 actions, you're going to be stressed. So you can't do hopeful.
This is also
Right.
true.
So here's something that I just realized. So whenever a card shows an action, unless it specifies that it's red or you take a stress, it's white.
Yes.
So you put that on a ship that can't normally do a white boost action, or a boost action at all. Then if they have that card, then they can
suddenly do a
use that.
boost.
Mm-hmm. Put that on a Falcon. The Falcon can now do a white boost if a friendly ship gets killed. So
Okay,
you fly
okay.
a bunch of you fly the Falcon and a bunch of the Z95s that can equip hopeful, whatever the second
Talas?
level. Yeah.
Tala.
Yeah.
How-
Also, there is a shenanigan you can do with this as well.
What's that?
Is if one of your ships dies outside of the combat, so say in the systems phase, you can do your boost then and your focus, or your focus
Yeah.
or your boost then, which means that you can still do whatever else you want to do in your activation.
That is really
So-
nice.
Or if you want to go full on jank, run them all with hopeful and selfless. So you just got a load of green squadrons with hopeful and selfless, so they can dish the crits between them to make sure that the one you want to die dies, and then
Yes.
they all get a free boost or a focus.
You-
Completely pointless, but great fun.
Yeah, that works. That's fine. I like that as well. Although, isn't selfless unique?
No.
No,
No,
No? Okay.
no. People fly swarms of them.
I must be thinking of a
Yeah,
different card.
it's just
I'm sure there's something else that's
not-
unique that does a similar thing. I might be wrong.
It's just not
Low
many
Rick.
people take selfless.
No.
I know a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people, but I mean, because I haven't played a lot of games. But people that fly wings with rebels, they like to put on selfless so that they can use that with the epic wings function of taking away damage.
Yeah, you just sink damage into your wing.
Exactly.
Last card.
Yes.
Rob, do you want to read this one? Phoenix Squadron?
Yeah, that'd be cool. So, at the start
Speaking of
of the
wings.
planning phase, one of your wingmates that is docked with you may join your wing without gaining a stress token. And then the second part is while you or your attack shuttle wingmate or Sheathipede class wingmate defends, up to 2 of your RZ1 A-wing wingmates in the attack arc may each suffer 1 hit/crit damage to cancel 1 matching result.
Yes. So this is an epic squadron upgrade. I don't know what they're officially called. It's an epic thing. So you apply this to the Ghost, right?
Well,
Yeah.
it's to a squadron, yeah. You get squadron cards and then you can apply this to it.
So here's the thing. Before, I thought you could only have small base ships in a wing. So how do you do that with a large base?
Yeah.
I think the large base doesn't go in the squadron. These epic
No, it
upgrades
does.
don't get applied to a ship, do they? They're just like
No.
part of your list.
No,
And then
they're
magic
they're
happens.
applied to a ship. Well,
Are
yeah, because I know a lot of them.
if you read it, because what it's saying is that the Phoenix Squadron, it's whether your attack shuttle wingmate or your Sheathipede class. So it's saying that you can use an attack shuttle or a Sheathipede with a load of A-wings.
Let's see.
Okay.
Is it?
Well, no, because it's talking about ships being docked. The only rebel ship that has a docking function is the Ghost.
Yeah, one of your
It's
wingmates
part of
that
the
is
plan.
not
I-
with you may join your wing without
Yeah.
gaining a stretch token.
I guess we'll find out more about this when we actually get the boxes in our hands.
Yeah, because that's
Because it will be
gonna
on the
have some.
reference sheet.
Well, is there not any upgrades like this in
There
the
are-
epic packs?
There are, but
No.
not with big ships.
Well,
there are.
yeah.
Let me pull it back up here. Pull up the epic, and then I can tell you. They're called command upgrades.
That's it. Yeah.
And let me see here. Pull up.
Because if they're applied to ships, I assume you applied this Phoenix Squadron 1 to a Ghost.
That would be my thought. Yeah, because here we
Yeah.
go. Let me pull up Darth Vader and the TIE Advance because I know that one's got a couple different commands. So yeah, they have different commands that you assign them to specific ships because, for example, Vader, you can give that's not Vader, but that works. Baron of the Empire, you can give an upgrade called Veteran Wing Leader, which is you are a wing leader. Your wingmates must be 2, 3, 4, or 5 other ships of your type. That's the standard one that goes across for all factions. And then the Empire one has a special faction that for TIE Advance or TIE Advance prototypes, you are the wing leader. Your wingmates must be 2 or 3, 4 or 5 TIE intercept or TIE LNs, the regular TIE fighters.
Yeah.
But so they are attached to a specific ship. Usually they mention that they're the wing leader, though. That's the interesting thing about Phoenix Squad. It doesn't do that.
I would assume that there is a second card that goes with this one.
I'm thinking so. After rereading all of the ones that are up, because even the Sky Strike Academy one even has the wording "You are a wing leader."
Yeah.
And
So
that's the one
you'll
thing
have an upgrade that will go with the Ghost that says you are the wing leader. You may take XXX ships with you.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it. The way the wing tool is, it's just enough space for where you can sit 6 small base ships all
Yeah.
in 2 rows of 3. You can have it where my prediction is if you are going to have a ghost in the wing, it's going to be in the front or it's going to be in the back, and the wingmates are going to be on the opposite side. You're not going to have them on the same row as the large base ship because there's no
Right.
space for it.
Fair enough.
I've just referred to the German card, and there is 2 command cards, which is the Bladewing Prototype and Phoenix Squadron. That's all there is. So there isn't an additional
Alright,
card. So
okay.
it must be in the rules somewhere.
It's going to
Yeah.
probably be in the rule book in the expansion itself.
Yeah, the reference card, the reference sheet.
I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't played X-wing in 2. I haven't played X-wing in 2.0. That'd be a bit silly. I haven't played Epic in 2.0 yet. So
It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it.
I've got a lot of learning to do, but I won't play Epic on TTS. I'll play Epic when we're back in business, playing face to face again.
Yeah.
But
I can play with you then.
back to what Phoenix Squadron card does, I think it's quite nice because if it does go on the Ghost, then it means the Ghost who has 0 agility can actually avoid some
Can
damage.
absorb quite a lot of damage. Yeah.
That would probably make sense then on why it's talking about ships taking the damage away. It probably is intended to be put on the Ghost.
Yeah, because it wouldn't make much sense on another E-wing unless it was a really bloody important A-wing where other damage.
Well, you
other
can't
A-wings-
take named A-wings in wings anyway.
So they have to all be basic.
Yeah.
I can remember the episode. All of the different Phoenix Squadron random pilots just had like different coloured suits. They looked a bit like slightly like the Power Rangers, but in terrible morph suits.
Well, it's funny. Yeah, there's got to definitely be a reference to it because it's really funny thinking about it because it is a 2 paragraph card. There's 2 different sections to it. Unless they have it where that's a ghost only upgrade, which doesn't show on the card itself. You could put it on, as of right now, from what we're given, we could put it on any ship, including a Falcon or a YT-2400, because as of right now, there's no reason, there's no limiting word saying otherwise.
This is true. But for fluffiness, put it on the go.
Oh, of course.
But
Ghost
that is
doesn't die.
that is the last card of all the stuff that was revealed in Rebels. We've talked about a lot of janky combos there with all of these different A-wings. It's going to be absolute madness trying to figure out lists of
It'll be a lot of fun.
how far you can pass a focus token, how many locks can you share between. Admin Mark, you weren't here when we were going through the pilots. Is there any specific pilots that you're looking forward to?
Obviously Hera and
yes.
Ashoka, because they're both very, very good.
Yes, we've talked about Hera a lot for just passing things around.
And I think Shara might have some shenanigans, especially in an A-wing.
Yes, we were talking about all sorts of stuff. I mean, Jake Farrell can provide Shara with an extra focus token, or just a focus token, and then Hera can pass Shara a lock.
Yeah.
The combo that I went through, which was my idea that I did on OBS, just quickly to record it on TTS. Sorry, the fact that Jake can boost in the systems phase with the vectored cannons, give Hera a focus, then Hera can get into position.
Of course. I hadn't thought about that one.
And then Hera gets into position. Jake focuses or rolls into position first, then gives himself a focus anyway. Garven, I had in this list in the X-wing, takes a target lock. Hera takes a target lock as she's already got a focus from Jake. And it was the fact that these three ships have swarm tactics. So Hera swarm tactics to Jake, and then Jake swarm tactics to Garven. They're all at pilot skill 6. I did it slightly wrong. Well, I forgot about taking a focus off Hera, but basically Garven shoots first at initiative 6. And he can take Hera's focus and have a fully focused target lock primary attack at range 1 or proton torpedo shot. He can spend his focus, and then with his ability, pass the focus back to Hera, so that Hera can pass the focus to someone else that might hit. Jake fires off a proton rocket because he's already focused. He can take the target lock, which in this case he did off Hera if he needs it, so his proton torpedo becomes fully modified. And if he didn't take it, Hera can fire her primary attack or another missile if she's in the A-wing, or a torpedo if she's in the B-wing. That's fully modded if she didn't give the target lock to Jake. And if she's in the B-wing and she didn't give the target lock to Jake, then she can have the Bladewing Prototype. Weapon Systems Officer, she can fire off a cannon or torpedo, spend a lock to reroll, gain an extra lock from Weapon Systems Officer, then spend that lock on the config to fire her other cannon.
Yep.
It's absolute madness, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Any final thoughts?
Providing you can run all of that.
Well, yes, this is true. I feel like with what I ran on OBS, there might be enough points for a third A-wing. So you'd have 3 A-wings with swarm tactics and vectored cannons, ordnance if it fits, and then Garven drag.
Going to be strong.
Yeah, well, it'd be freaking fun and shenanigan-y, just throwing a focus token to each other like it's a bloody rugby ball.
I think what would be fun to do just for a casual game is that we need to have everyone build thematic lists regardless of points. You're gonna build Phoenix Squadron. You're gonna build Rogue Squadron. The
Sky
different
Strike, and then
the actual wings, like all of Black Squadron, and then
you still have to be careful because I mean, if you built Phoenix Squadron like up to 200 points, they'd all be A-wings. You were doing Sky Strike. If you were ignoring points, you'd do like 5 or 6 A-wings, whatever. Then you'd have that versus like.
Well, I mean, not
points.
generics. They're not generics. Like all the named pilots that are in the squadrons. Like if you're doing Rogue Squadron,
I get what you mean. Just basically doing it straight out of film, Rebels or whatever. But I mean,
exactly.
you'd still have to point it. Otherwise, one type of ship that have all its named pilots, and they would, as a ship in the game, would overpower a weak ship that just has all of its named pilots. You'd still have to point it somewhere. But I like the idea.
That'd be fun. Just something to kind of throw a little bit of mix in there. But it'd be I like doing something like that. That's just a little bit different. I know in our area here, back near the end of 1.0's lifespan, for our tournaments, we would add in some extra rule of some sort that would kind of throw a little bit of mix in the game, so it wasn't getting because it was getting stale in our area. Just it was the same old, same old. And one thing that we did that was actually really fun, which in Epic coming up, we're going to be able to do. We're going to talk in a later thing. Was you could add one scum ship to any of it to your list. Any one scum ship you could add to your list. So when I saw it's going to be talked about here with the next couple episodes, I got really excited about that.
Any final thoughts? Anyone else?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Other Mark, are you happy, Coleman? Do you want to say anything else?
So just call him Coleman.
No, I have run all my opinions through my Leah, and I'm good. The defense rests.
Rest its case.
Fair enough. Right, we'll leave it there then, guys. That was a very nice in-depth episode, and hopefully we'll record the Imperial episode either tomorrow or it'll have to be next week. So thank you for joining me, everyone. We'll say bye-bye for now. Bye.